Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to call this meeting to order for the Recreation and Parks Commission meeting of July 9th, 2024. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Carey?
Here.
Commissioner Batterson?
Here.
Commissioner Diaz?
Here.
And Chair Lopez.
Here. Thank you. We'll now proceed to a roll call vote to approve the minutes from the June 11th meeting. The clerk will call the names of the members. When your name is called, please respond with approve or disapprove or abstain. Madam Clerk, please proceed with the roll call.
Commissioner Carey?
Approve.
Commissioner Batterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz?
Approve.
Chair Lopez.
Approve. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Based on the roll call, the minutes are approved. This concludes a roll call vote on the minutes. We will now move on to the next item on the agenda. And that is the public comment period. As a reminder, speakers are allowed 5 minutes to comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak at this time?
Not today.
Thank you. I will close the public comment period. We will now move on to the presentations. Our first presentation is regarding the budget for our fiscal year 2024 to 2025. Neville Smita, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair Lopez. Good afternoon, Commissioners. So it is my privilege to share a summary of what happened in this last fiscal year related to expenditures, our budget, how we fared, and then also a brief summary of what we can expect over the next fiscal year when it comes to the approved budget. You do have your these printouts in front of you if you want to reference them or take them home, show your family. There are three primary funds that we draw from. There's the general fund. As you can see, we had budgeted about just under $14 million, and we spent just under $13 million. I also just want to add a disclaimer that this is good through about the middle of June. There are still some outstanding expenditures that just at the time of putting this presentation together had not yet been accounted for in the expenditure reports. So this is mostly accurate. It's a good snapshot of how things played out. Measure U is another fund that we draw from. We were about on par there with spending all of it. And then our special districts, we were allocated about $8.7 million, and we hit just about $7 million in expenditures. The other that you see there, this is some of our, I don't want to say minor budgets, but they are our Quimby Fund, which covers park improvements, our Growth Mitigation Fund, which is largely being spent on the Enos Ranch and Japanese Cultural Center, and the Residential Development Tax, which a lot of it covers the improvements at the Las Flores Ranch. So and then also some of our capital projects as well also fall under the other. General fund, it doesn't get carried over, so it's a use it or lose it kind of thing. Special districts typically does carry over into the next fiscal year, as well as a lot of the other funds, including capital funds, will get carried over to the next fiscal year. This is just a summary of what the adopted budget looks like in a graphical sense. As you can see, our largest budget is the general fund. Makes up for a little bit more than half of what was approved by our city council. Then special districts, and just for reference, so the special districts, the 30%, that does not include anything that gets carried over from this fiscal year. Carryovers of leftover funds usually don't get carried over until about September, the fall time. And so this is specific to what you would see in the budget book if you reference the budget book that was presented and approved by City Council on June 18th. And then these are this is the breakdown of what you saw on the previous screen. As you see, general fund and Measure U and landscape and lighting districts are the largest budgets that we have. Just a note on the capital projects, it looks like we only have $100,000 to spend on capital projects. Again, this is specific to what was approved in the budget for 24-25. It does not account for all those capital funds which have already been set aside for capital projects that will be carried over into the next fiscal year. I think in 2 slides, maybe 3 slides time, you will see a breakdown of those funds that are potentially going to be carried over for capital projects. For reference, for the last 2 years and this coming fiscal year, you can see what was approved by City Council, either at the budget hearings or subsequent budget adjustments. The blue representing the general fund, the yellow or gold Measure U, and then the landscape and lighting districts in the green. So for the landscape and lighting districts, fairly status quo. Again, I want to point out that the $7 million approved by City Council on June 18th does not account for those funds that are going to be carried over from the last fiscal year. Like I said, that will happen later in the fall. And then as promised, here's a list of the capital projects that are ongoing, that have funding that will carry over, that should carry over into the next fiscal year. So we're not really left with just $100,000 to spend on all these projects, but we do have other funds set aside that we anticipate carrying over for some of these larger projects, or all of these larger projects. And then a snapshot of what our department leadership structure looks like, shifting gears, moving away from budget and into personnel. This is more just for informational purposes. There have been some adjustments, some changes at how we've shifted some of our staff around. The supervision has been allocated a bit more equitably across the department. And this is what we're expecting the leadership structure to look like, at least for the next fiscal year. In terms of new positions that were approved in the budget for 24-25, we have a full-time account clerk that will be added to our admin group, which has been approved. The graphics technician classification, which was previously a part-time classification, has been approved to be a full-time position, and that's very exciting. Yeah. We have the Parks Development Technician. That's a new position, which was, it's the working title, which was added, which is going to be supporting the landscape and lighting districts and many, many other things, exciting things that we have planned for this new position. And we have been approved to hire a part-time security guard position, which will assist with being the eyes and ears in some of our civic corridor area, transit center, the mall parking lots, and some of the other areas that we do, police. The next 2 slides will be is just a list of all the positions that we have assigned and approved for our department. The first slide is full-time allocations. As you can see, we have 69 that are assigned. Most are filled. And then our part-time and limited service allocations we have the next slide. Just a note about the limited services total that you see there. So as you're aware, we had the hiring fair in May, and from that hiring fair, we were able to hire about 23 either recreation leaders or clerks, or I think it was just those that we hired, building attendants, and so we were able to really focus on filling these limited service positions, most of which will be seasonal. A lot of our new hires from the hiring fair will be going on to greener pastures, school or college or something else come the end of summer. but this represents something a bit more than probably what we had last year in terms of our limited services, because we had such a great success with the hiring fair. So 236 positions in total are assigned to the Recreation and Parks Department. Staffing update, I did talk about those hired from the hiring fair in June. So we had 23 new hires. We were able to promote 3 employees during the month of June, and very excitingly even more, we had 0 employees resign during the month of June. And then at the bottom there, you'll see a list of our current vacancies for full-time and part-time. We're actively recruiting for most of those positions. Some are in different stages of recruitment, either at the interview process or the advertising process, or in the case of the city ranger, are already going through the background process. And that concludes my presentation related to the budget summary for 23-24 and what to expect in 24-25, as well as the personnel and staffing update. Do any of you commissioners have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Smead. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, thank you. If no, I will close the public comments. I understand we have certificates to award. Are we doing it now, or?
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
We have today with us a great group of people here representing Los Flores Ranch Park. And today we'd like to give to you a presentation. Recreation Supervisor Rudy will get up there and give you a great presentation about Los Flores Ranch.
Okay, well, thank you for having me back. I was back here last month, so I have the privilege to present and tell you a little bit about Los Flores Ranch Park and all the great stuff that we do, as well as recognize some of our amazing volunteers that we have here in the crowd. Los Flores Ranch Park, if you haven't been out to Los Flores Ranch Park, it's 1,778 acres, so it's about 2.8 square miles. The park's located about 8 miles south of Santa Maria in the Solomon Hills. So it's roughly about 15 minutes, 20 minutes outside of Santa Maria, which is not very far. Some of the key features that we have at Los Flores Ranch Park is 21 miles of multi-use trails for hiking, equestrian use, and mountain biking. That's a pretty far stretch from in 2009 when we opened up. We started with just 8 miles of basically roads, access roads that were trails. So now, thanks to a lot of the volunteers that are here in the crowd and community partners like Santa Maria Valley Open Space, we're able to have a little over 21 miles of multi-use trails for hiking, mountain biking, and all kinds of activities that we do out there. We have a dinosaur-themed playground. And I gave you a little sneak peek on there. I probably wasn't supposed to, but I thought I'd throw it on there. So we actually have a new treehouse playground that's being installed out there. So I guess it's the worst kept secret now. But yeah, it's a great addition. It's going to be great because it's in our family-friendly area. It's accessible for kids and families to enjoy. We also have an animal barn with donkeys, horses, sheep, goats, chickens, and our newly additioned 3 little pigs who are super cute. But that's also an awesome addition because we get the families that come out, they stop by the visitor center, and they get to enjoy, visiting with the animals, as well as our volunteers. They like to feed them, and they enjoy that. And then our visitor center, which has lots of live exhibits of reptiles, amphibians. We have fossils, all kinds of cool things for families and kids to check out and enjoy when they check in before they hit the trails. So I wanted to share a little bit about our Ranch to River outdoor nature experience program that we actually just recently wrapped up. It was a grant that we received from the California State Parks where we were able to do field trips for local elementary school students. Susan Tuttle, now a recreation technician, she was the spearhead of this program. She did an amazing job of striking a partnership with the Santa Maria Bonita School District. We were able to create a curriculum for the 4th grade level that meets all their science standards. We had 17 elementary schools who were participating. So they were coming out to Los Flores Ranch Park. In total, we served around 4,000 students, probably over 4,000 students throughout that program. That was believed since 2021, or 2020, right before, unfortunately, COVID hit. And when COVID did hit, we kind of had to pivot a little bit. So we had to regroup, and Susan had the awesome idea to work with the school districts as well to kind of take the ranch on the road. As you'll see right there, as part of the grant, we were able to have a mobile nature center, and we got our cool van wrapped. So Susan took the ranch on the road with other rec leaders and staff, and we actually brought the ranch out to the schools during COVID. We were able to do that and really meet the needs of the students, give them something to do outside of just being home and doing that home study thing. So that was a great addition. And a neat part of the trailer that you probably see on there is that big dome right there. We were able to actually add a mobile observatory to it in the back. We worked with local astronomers in Helen Hancock College. So that's a nice, big, huge telescope out there that we use for a lot of our programs, like stargazing parties. And actually for when we had the solar eclipses and stuff, we were able to bring it in town to actually view the sun with certain lenses. And then the other awesome part about the Ranch to River program was the mitigation for oak trees out at Los Flores Ranch Park. Susan worked really closely with the students and to plant 450 oak trees. She was out there collecting, I don't know how many, acorn seedlings. It says 100, but I think it's well exceeded 100. Catch them on tarps and putting them out there for the students to plant. So, but that part really helped as far as the mitigation that we're required to do at Los Flores Ranch Park with the future landfill coming down the road. So I kind of want to dive into a little bit of our summer programs that we offer right now. We have an adventure camp coming up July 16th to the 18th. That's actually the first adventure camp that we're offering. And it's a series of adventure camps that Recreation Supervisor Stephanie has put together. We've done an awesome one at the Paul Nelson Aquatic Center. She's got a lot of great ones going on. We're excited for that one. We have about 14 campers registered. And they'll get to come out and do hiking, intro to archery. They get to do geocaching, interacting with our barn animals, and all kinds of tons of fun stuff out there. We do our Ride 3 ATV safety class, which is an ATV riding safety class for kids 12 years and up. That's coming up on July 20th. Another popular one is our Twilight mountain bike ride, July 27th. We have a docent-led mountain bike ride where they basically get to ride out in the sunset. They get to enjoy Los Flores Ranch at night. They turn on their lights and just have a good time on the trails. And then, of course, our stargazing party, which is coming up August 30th from 8 to 10. And that's pretty cool because visitors, they get to come and enjoy tons of telescopes that are provided by the Central Coast Astronomy Society. They come from all the way from Santa Barbara, around the surrounding areas, and then we use our mobile observatory, which is really cool. We get up over 100 people sometimes, 100 to 200, I would say, depending on the night and the evening. So I highly encourage you guys to come out and check that out. So our volunteers, I get the privilege of talking a little bit about our volunteers in our program at Los Flores Ranch Park. We really can do or have the things that we have out there without our volunteers, who are the backbone of our programs and our trails. Many of our programs and activities wouldn't be possible without them. We have over 20 volunteers who do various things around the ranch, whether it's docent-led hikes, whether it's trail work days, geocaching. But we have a select few that are being highlighted today because of their years of dedication and involvement with our school programs, as well as their commitment to our community and Los Flores Ranch Park. And another volunteer, and she's not on the volunteer extraordinaire, but she is a volunteer extraordinaire. I don't see her today, but is Helen Tarbett with the U.S. Forest Service. Oh, where is she? Oh, she snuck in the back. Hi, Helen. So Helen and the Forest Service have been a tremendous partner for us. She's been a partner, and they have, since 2010. She's one of our program leaders. She does fire prevention, recycling programs, nature programs, and trail safety lessons. She brings Smokey Bear and Woodsy Owl out to all of our events and activities. And they come out to all the field trips that we have, or they were going to the schools. So they've been an amazing partner, and Helen's been so amazing to work with, and we appreciate all that you do in your partnership. So we have some certificates that we wanted to hand out to these volunteers today. And I think we're going to present them. Yeah. Yeah. So we've got the first one, should be Randy Cohen. Randy, come on up. So Randy is amazing. I remember him starting out planting trees and working out there in our native garden, and he just became an amazing volunteer. He still continues to do amazing things out there, so thank you very much, Randy. Sati. So Sati's been a volunteer since 2011. He comes out and does our programs. I'm not sure if he can't really see the picture, but he likes to talk about all the bones and the anatomy of the animals. And I think in that picture, he's actually wearing one of those shirts that has like the bones on it. So Terry Murdoch. Terry's been a volunteer since 2009. Terry's done it all. He's been out there in 2009 since the beginning. Trail work days, coming out for the schools, orienteering, and then Jim Batterson got him hooked on geocaching. So, and Barbara, come on up. So Barbara, another one of our volunteers since the beginning of Los Flores Ranch Park. She's been phenomenal. She does amazing things. I will say she's brought our horses out since the beginning of Los Flores Ranch Park. They've always been our mascots, and we've appreciated her making them a part of the Los Flores Ranch family as well as the Rec and Parks family. You've probably seen them at some of the Christmas tree lightings and other events. So, and then Helen, come on up, Helen. So Helen's been with us since 2010 as a volunteer, and like I mentioned, she's done amazing things with the Los Padres National Forest program, and awesome. Thank you.
She just got off the fire, so thank you for being here. She's still working.
Yeah, and again, we can't do it without our volunteers. They help us save costs on trail work and all kinds of different activities and programs. So, again, on behalf of the Rec and Parks Department and all of our staff, thank you so much for your time and all you do for us and the community.
Thank you, Rudy. And yes, thank you again, volunteers, for doing everything that you do for us, especially at the Los Flores Ranch. So thank you for that. Any public comments? Any questions from the commissioners? Okay, I will close the public comments. Next on our agenda is new business. We will discuss the approval of the Los Flores Ranch Park 15th anniversary resolution. So, Mr. Dennis Smitherman, please provide us the details.
Yes, so in your packet today, you do have a resolution celebrating the 15 years Los Flores Ranch Park has been open. Before the park was open to the public, Rudy and crew, including our interim city manager, Alex Posada, spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours out there getting it ready to open and then continue to work out there, even on their weekends and evenings to make sure that the park is open for the community. Again, with our great volunteers and our staff, really make it a wonderful place to be. It's such a diverse culture, ecosystem out there. We go from the ranch, having the oaks and that hilly environment to the riverbed with that environment. So it's quite a spread we have here in Santa Maria. So it's really important that we're teaching about all the different ecosystems here in our community. So today we'd like to have you present the recognition of the 15 years that Los Flores Ranch has been open. Do you have that available to read?
Yes.
Yes, great. So when you're ready, thank you.
Thank you. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Santa Maria, California, celebrating the 15th anniversary of Los Flores Ranch Park. Whereas Los Flores Ranch Park, spanning 1,774 acres of recreational open space, was officially opened to the public in June of 2009. And whereas Los Flores Ranch Park offers an extensive 20-mile network of multi-use trails designed for hiking, mountain biking, and horseback riding, providing a range of opportunities for outdoor recreation and enjoyment. And whereas over the past 15 years, Los Flores Ranch Park has become a beloved destination for residents and visitors alike, fostering a deep appreciation for nature and the outdoors. And whereas the park hosts a variety of outdoor educational programs and activities, enriching the community with experiences such as stargazing parties, docent-led hikes, mountain bike rides, and geocaching adventures, archery sessions, and the patch. And whereas Los Flores Ranch Park serves as an invaluable resource for local students, offering field trips that promote environmental education and a deeper understanding of nature and the local habitat. And whereas the park's dedicated volunteers have worked tirelessly to provide quality outdoor programs and maintain and enhance its trails, ensuring a safe and enjoyable environment for all residents and visitors. And whereas the 15th anniversary of Los Flores Ranch Park is an opportunity to recognize and celebrate its contributions to the community, its role in promoting outdoor recreation, and its impact on environmental education. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved by the Recreation and Parks Commission of the City of Santa Maria, California, as follows: that the City of Santa Maria hereby celebrates the 15th anniversary of Los Flores Ranch Park and extends its gratitude to all who have contributed to its success and continued vitality, encouraging all residents and visitors to participate in the various events and activities planned in honor of this milestone, and to continue supporting Los Flores Ranch Park as a cherished community resource for outdoor recreation. Passed and adopted at the regular meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission of the City of Santa Maria, California, held this 9th day of July 2024. We will now proceed for a roll call vote, or will you? Okay. We'll now proceed for a roll call vote to approve the Los Flores Ranch Park 15th Anniversary Resolution. The clerk will call the names of the members. When your name is called, please respond with yes, no, or abstain. Madam Clerk, please proceed with the roll call.
Commissioner Carey,
Yes.
Commissioner Batterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz,
Yes.
and Chair Lopez.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Based on the roll call, the resolution is approved. And moving on, I'm pleased to announce our new vice chair and committee assignments. First, our vice chair position will be filled by Rebecca Carey. Congratulations, Commissioner, on your new role.
Thank you.
And regarding the committee assignments, Commissioner Diaz, the current vacancies are open for park development, community partnerships, and capital project. Would you be willing to join one or two or all three of these committees?
I saw that on there. I'm definitely willing to take on a couple of these, if my capacity, yes.
Which one would you like to join?
Probably community partnerships.
And if you have questions on what they are, you can ask and we can clarify.
So we can start there, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. So I want to thank everyone for their continued dedication and contribution to our work. And so next, we'll hear from our Director of Management Staff with the Business Manager's Report, Mr. Neville Smita.
So the business manager spoke to you a little bit earlier.
Oh, he combined
Yep,
everything
so
together?
yeah, he went ahead and combined it. But
That's-
if you have additional questions on anything related to business matters, you're welcome to ask any questions, and he'll be happy to answer.
We're good.
And if not, we can move on.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Scott Christian.
Commissioners, Scott Christian, Interim Operations Manager. I'm going to be brief today. I didn't bring any show and tell, but it is summer. It's warm. We're watering a lot. We're taking care of that. The parks are being well used. We had a very active use this last long weekend. Things that are going on, I've told you at other months, sort of projects. There's not a lot of new ones. They just continue going on. Exciting outside right here today at City Hall at the project of re-landscaping the front. We just laid sod for a lawn. Now, although this area is to be a water demonstration garden, we did decide to have a small area of turf for an area for public gathering, so they wouldn't trample the plants. And it is, relatively speaking, a water thrifty turf that we've put in. So it just got put in, which indicates we're almost done with this first phase, okay? Other things that the staff is heavily working on, we may have mentioned this before, but we have a state mandate to help redirect green waste back. So any municipality who is creating green waste needs to be a partner in getting it used. So we have a local provider, Engel and Gray, that is collecting green waste and processing it to the state standards. So city crews are busy spreading compost. So we're using this to primarily on our turf, which means we've got an organic fertilizing program now going on. We've done the Hagerman Sports Complex and Presker Park. These are two very large pieces, and we'll be continuing. We have the compost is allocated on a calendar year, not our fiscal cycle, so it's a little off, but in the calendar year, we have to put down 8,000 yards. Okay, that's a lot of material. So currently, we've put down about 1,200 to 1,500 of that. But we just started on this. We recently got 2 large spreaders and tractors to go with this. So it's an exciting program that's just starting. So I know that's sort of nuts and bolts, but it's important to us that we're biting a piece off and going for it. And I'm excited that we're coming up with an organic methodology too for improving the turf. Other than that, we have ongoing projects. Battles Bike Path is progressing along. I think our last meeting, they were approaching Broadway. They've now jumped from the west side of Broadway to the east side and are approaching Miller Street. It's going to go all the way down to College, which is next to the cemetery. This is the first most important phase, which is all the pavement concrete work. There will be some amenities we'll go back and put in later. The Vets Park, Phase 2, which is the landscaping and site amenities. I just heard today that we're getting close enough that we're talking about hydroseeding, which is the method for seeding the turf. So that's going to happen relatively soon. And at that point, then we're more just waiting for it to grow. So it's moving along nicely. There will be about a 3-month period while it's closed to do that, but it'll look better and better every day. So that's going well. Enos Ranch, we are just in the final phases of proving the landscape plan for that area. I mean, this is just the very 9th hour kind of things before we hand it over for the bidding process. Right now, we're in the second phase of construction, which first was all the site work. Now we're building the community center, but we're trying to get the third phase lined up. So as soon as the community center construction's over, we'll be able to roll right into the landscaping there. I think that's it for sort of the major oversight things. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions?
I have a couple comments, but the one that I drove over to Enos Ranch today just to see the progress, and if you guys haven't driven over there, it looks so great. You're familiar with, okay, good. It just looks really good. The building, the barn, we call it a barn, is that the correct verbiage? Oh, excuse me, yes. The community center looks great anyway. Looks good.
That's
Thank
great.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I do have a question. For
Sure.
the Battles Walk or the bike trail, will you be using the same plants that you will be using here to make it more effective when it comes to like those plants that are being watered or have less water intake?
Yeah,
Similar plants?
Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but like the planting around here, we've purposely done sort of a demonstration kind of method. So there may be a block of succulents here and Mediterranean plants over there. But out at Battles, yeah, they're all water conserving plants as part of it. So, I mean, we're trying to get greenery, but we're not trying to overuse water, which is a mandate we have also from the state in general. You know, you'll see a lot of parkways of grass that we traditionally have had that we are slowly converting over to more water conserving plants too.
Okay. I'm just thinking when more people use that path and it's, you know, populated with plants that they see
Yeah,
that
there'll be
don't seek a lot of water, they would go home and, you know, maybe change their dynamics there. So.
Yeah, that's what we'd hope. We really want to show people that there are plants that can put in to save water other than just doing things like putting gravel and decomposed granite down. We still want to have
Yes.
plants, just that are lower water use.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kirsten.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or comments? And next we'll hear from Mr. Smitherman, Recreation Division report.
Thank you, Chair Lopez. I also have a short presentation today, but I really want to thank and highlight, we highlighted our volunteers who just do such an amazing job. But Rudy, Eduardo, and Susan are here as well, our key staff at the ranch. Really have done an amazing job over these years, keeping programming active, keeping our volunteers active, and just really want to say thank you to them as well. Susan going after her certificate to be our naturalist, make sure I said the right one, and her recent promotion to a full-time recreation technician. We just expect bigger and better now, right, Susan? So thank you for letting me acknowledge them. We are in the heart of summer. Our aquatics program is up and running with hundreds of kids being served through swim lessons already. This weekend, it's actually kind of nice. We have a whole summer planned without any construction happening at the pool, so we're excited about that. We do have our first closure to the public this weekend, so I wanted to just let you know about that. We do have an agreement with the swim club, so they'll be using it for a very large tournament this weekend, which we're also excited about being able to bring people into the community. That pool is constantly being recognized as one of the most amazing pools in our area. And so we are really excited to host. Usually there's hundreds and hundreds of kids and families at these events. So if you're around town this weekend and want to pop in, it's it's crazy. It's quite busy and quite fun to see all these kids being able to compete at this level. Also, we have Rec and Parks Month going to City Council next month, a resolution celebrating July as Recreation and Parks Month. So I will be looking for a couple volunteers to accept that proclamation. And we also have Hometown Heroes coming up in August, if anybody would like to participate in that as well. I want to say thank you to Stephanie and staff. Thanks you guys so much for hosting probably the smoothest 4th of July event I've seen in my history with the department. They were amazing. It's really hard to count how many people we had throughout the day, but I would venture to say throughout the course of people coming and going, it was probably close to 3,500 to 4,000 people. I really got nervous at the beginning. It was a slow start. And then right around 7:30, we started to see a little bit of an exodus, and I was like, uh-oh. But immediately after a group of people left, the Elks Field just filled up with people coming for the drone show, and of course the band did an amazing job. The food vendors did a great job keeping up with the demand as well. So I'd like to show you just a couple minutes. Are you nodding your head? It's not working. I'll get it to work before we leave, but we do have a couple minutes of the drone show for you to share. I will tell you, it's the first time we've had something like this in our immediate area. The only other show has been in Solvang, and that was about 3 years ago. So we did get quite the positive feedback from hosting a drone show. Everyone from dog lovers who were appreciative that we didn't have the fireworks, to people who just haven't been able to experience something like this before. So it was quite amazing. Next year we hope to grow it bigger and better. Sorry. But it was a great job, and I did get an email from the mayor the very following day stating what an amazing job everyone did, and she got tons of compliments and lots of good words about the whole event. So all day we kept hearing about people just really enjoying the family-friendly atmosphere. We had free swim. Actually, the play sponsored a free swim day, so the pool was open to the community for 3 hours. Thank you, Rudy and staff. And then we had tons of family games and activities. We ended the evening with a great concert from the Molly Ringwald Project, and then went right into the drone show. So it was a long day. I think, how many steps did you have? How many did Jeanette had? 11 miles in steps that day. I second runner up at 10 miles that day. So, but it was a lot of fun, and it was a great time. I think everyone had a good time. So, while Director Osling gives her report, I'll try to queue up the drone show for you.
Sounds
Any
good.
questions I can answer?
Thank you. Director Osland.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. So the staff did a great job, once again, of covering everything I had intended to cover if they didn't. So I'll just really quickly talk about the Recreation and Parks Month. That will be on the third week at the City Council meeting, so third week in August, as will Hometown Heroes. So we hope that folks can come and support our heroes and be available for that. The other thing I wanted to mention was that as the community center, Japanese Community Center project wraps up, we'd like to invite you all out for a walkthrough of that building as it becomes substantially complete. So we'll work through that process with Public Works sometime in December or perhaps January, depending on when it's safe to walk around and occupy. But we definitely love to give you a first look of the building and see what we've been working on behind the scenes. So that's to come. And then finally, I wanted to mention the Urban Forest Management Plan and the Parks Assessment Report that we talked about last month. So that went to you all for review and for consideration. Then we moved that forward to the City Council. The City Council's asked us to bring that back in the fall, both of those items back with some additional commentary. So Scott, Dennis, and I will be working on some potential public outreach meet and greets, listening sessions, and what we'll do is come back to you next month with what that might look like so that we can advertise those listening sessions and you can get that out to the constituents and get the public feedback on those items. It is really important that we hear from the public as we're moving forward through this next stage. Some of the feedback may influence the approach to future municipal code changes, policies, procedures, and how we move forward in navigating, implementing an urban forest management plan a little bit differently than we might have in the past. So with that, do you have any questions for me?
I have a question for you. How do you plan on going about reaching out to the public?
Yeah, so what we would do is we'll start with you all. We do have social media. We have internal sources that will have our outreach folks reach out to the community. We'll advertise through the media, through the radio. So there will be a lot of ways in which we do that outreach. We'll also mention it at the public hearings to make sure that our folks hear that those opportunities are coming. We'll do that when we have more firm dates. What we'd like to do is be able to have those dates available for a time that the community can come, right? So it may be in the evenings or it might be on the weekend, so that we can get the participation that we're looking for, because that is affecting more than just a development, for example, or a particular single household or a particular park. So there's a lot of range in terms of the need for the feedback. So we want to make sure we give everybody an opportunity to participate where we can. And then we'll also take written comment and include that.
Sounds good. Any other questions or comments?
All right.
We can.
How are we doing over there? We're getting there.
I don't have my glasses. Like I never be hiding coaching.
All right. With that, I'll turn it back over to Dennis.
Thank you, Director Osland.
Well, it's weird that it was on there before.
Did you see this?
Well, there was a square that said it.
Oh, yeah, I did see it.
Okay.
In the corner. It's not there now.
I don't hear any vote. So we did have really great patriotic music playing this whole time. Sorry, I can't share that with you right now. Is it off? So as you can see, we ended up having 150 drones do this whole display, a variety of shapes. Supervisor Stephanie Salcedo, Jeanette Blanco, and I met with the designer, and they put together a customized show for us. So some of the items in the middle will come up to are specific to the Santa Maria area. Again, I would say 99.9% of the comments were positive from the public. The only comments we heard was they wish it was longer, but I think people will be excited next year if we're able to bring it back, that we may be able to provide a longer show with more drones. This was an overall cost savings from the fireworks that were previously purchased 2 years of $30,000 savings. And again, although we had plenty of fireworks in the background, this brought something new to the community that most people haven't seen in real life before. So we're coming up to just some specific ones. I might fast forward this just a hair, maybe. And so I also heard that the third level of the mall, of the library parking, second level of the library parking structure was a great place to view it as well. So save that for next year. But otherwise, the field was a great venue. We got a couple cell phone towers in the way, but it overall was amazing. So just show you about another minute. They did some really cool stuff. Again, these guys came from Utah. They were happy to be here. It was 114 degrees at home, so they were glad to be on the Central Coast. And again, the whole event, I don't want to discount the whole event because of the drones. The whole event was really amazing and really appreciated by the community. Here's our Santa Maria ship. It's cruising.
I don't think so.
Here's our area code, all in drone work. We have our local strawberries.
Oh, I love that.
And of course, we're in Elks Field, so we had to end our personalization here with a little baseball. Again, the whole show was about 10 minutes long, and everyone appeared to have a good time. Thank you. Thank you.
Now we move on to the commissioner items. Commissioner Batterson, do you have anything to report for us today?
I do not.
Thank you. Commissioner Carey?
It was kind of a quiet month this morning, though. This is interesting and it's pertinent to what you guys are going to be doing. Dennis probably didn't get to do it, but the Arbor Day Foundation, I mentioned them last month, has the I don't know, how do they call them? It's like, this is about the 9th in a series of Alliance for Trees, where they do it, it's to empower tree people or people that want to grow their urban tree, which we're trying to do. The big picture is it's environmental justice training, but today they were talking specifically about how to get people to come and different methods that they've used. And originates in Chicago and Nebraska, I think. So it's like people from all over the country that have been doing this, getting groups together, trying to figure out how to get their neighborhoods, it's not easy for anybody. So today it was like the whole 2.5 hours was about how people had done this and brought people together. So if you want to watch it, it'll be on their website, or they'll send it to me. I can forward it to you. I'm sure you can access it, though, since it's the city membership. But they have the community listening sessions, they call them. And they have all these different teas and trees conversations, just really cool little things that we wouldn't think of, because we're like, oh, how are we going to get this? But all these really thoughtful ideas. So that was literally this morning. So if anybody, it's fresh in my mind. But Dennis, you could watch it. I know. Oh, no. And it started too early anyway. But I highly recommend that. And if you want one of us to sit in, I'm glad to do it. I don't have to, but that's about, it's been a really quiet month until today, actually. It was like all kinds of stuff, but thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Diaz?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. I want to wrap this up by thanking the department leadership team of the Recreation and Parks. I know you all spend a lot of time thanking everyone else, but we do appreciate you. You are the backbone of the department, and we are thankful, and I'm so grateful for everything that you do, and of course, our volunteers and the entire staff of the Recs and Parks Department. I'm so grateful to be part of this great city, and I thank you. It is a lot of work to put the red, white, and Zoom was amazing, and it's a lot of pre-planning, a lot of the same day event planning and then the after, and so it's not gone unnoticed. So I do appreciate everything that everyone has put and for that event and for everything else that you do. And with that being said, this concludes tonight's meeting. Good night, everyone. Thank you.